Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. The ice is set, the lights are bright, and tonight, the intensity of the NHL takes center stage. 4 games, 8 picks, and a full slate of high-stakes action await. Every shift matters, every line change could tilt. November 20th, 2025, is not just another day in the league, it's a night where stars clash, strategies collide, and teams fight for traction in the early season standings. As the puck drops, the narratives are already written in stats, streaks, and the subtle nuances that only an expert eye can catch. Columbus Blue Jackets vs. Toronto Maple Leafs sets the tone. Columbus arrives in Toronto with a record of the 2nd of August 10 and a 5-5-1 mark away from home, eager to climb out of 5th in the Metropolitan Division with 22 points. Toronto sits at 9-9-2, anchored near the bottom of the Atlantic with 20 points, though their home ice has been more forgiving with an 8-4-2 record. Both teams carry urgency into this matchup. Columbus wants to solidify a winning trajectory after an uneven stretch, while Toronto seeks to escape early season frustration before it hardens into a trend. The recent form of both teams has been split, but the stakes feel higher than the numbers alone suggest. Columbus leans heavily on the offensive brilliance of Kiermarenko, who leads the team with 22 points, 8 goals, 14 assists, and a +8 rating. He sets the tone for a balanced attack that includes Dmitry Voronov, Zach Werenski, and Adam Fantilli, but it is Marenko's presence that truly drives the Jackets. Toronto counters with a top-end trio led by William Nylander at 27 points, John Tavers with 11 goals, and Nylander again controlling playmaking with 18 assists. Toronto's top 6 generates more raw offensive danger, reflected in their 3.50 goals per game, yet their defensive vulnerabilities remain glaring, allowing 3.70 goals per game. Columbus's structured play, anchored by Werenski and Pavor, contrasts sharply with Toronto's volatility, while Mattia Olivier brings physicality and a team-high 44 penalty minutes. The key difference lies in the crease. Columbus goalies combine for a .903 save percentage, far stronger than Toronto's .885. Their penalty kill sits at an impressive 78.3%, versus Toronto's 72%, while the Leafs enjoy a slight edge on the power play at 18.1% to Columbus's 17.4%. Momentum is slightly tilted toward Columbus, who despite a 5-2 loss to Winnipeg, have won 3 of their last 5, grinding out close victories against Montreal, New York, and Seattle. Toronto, meanwhile, enters on uneven footing, with an overtime win over St. Louis sandwiched between losses to Chicago, Los Angeles, Boston, and Carolina. The goaltending duel becomes the heartbeat of the game. Columbus rides a strong tandem led by Jet Greaves, who boasts 6 wins, a 2.79 GAA, and a .904 save percentage across 12 starts, while Elvis Melikins adds 4 wins at .900. Toronto's Anthony Stolarz and Dennis Hild have been less reliable, making every moment in net pivotal. The matchup balances on a razor's edge between structured stability and offensive chaos. The first pick leans to the Maple Leafs, while the total over 5.5 promises an electrifying, high-scoring contest. Meanwhile, in Sunrise, New Jersey Devils take on the Florida Panthers. New Jersey, the first of May 13 and tied atop the Metropolitan Division with 27 points, face a Florida squad at the 1st of August 10, fighting to stay competitive in the tight Atlantic race. This clash brings a stark contrast in team identity. New Jersey's attack flows through Jack Hughes, whose 20 points and 10 goals have established him as a leader, with Jasper Bratt adding 13 assists and Dawson Mercer a +6 rating. Florida counters with Brad Marchand at 23 points and 13 goals, Anton Lundell's 11 assists, and Gustav Forsling's steady presence. Defensively, New Jersey relies on Luke Hughes, Dougie Hamilton, and Simon Knack, while Florida leans on Seth Jones, Forsling, and Verhaeghe. Between the pipes, New Jersey's Jake Allen, with a 7-2 record, 2.24 GAA, and .916 save percentage, offers a calm, stabilizing influence, while Florida's Sergei Babsky at 9.50 with a 2.80 GAA and .883 save percentage faces heavier workloads and more dangerous second-chance opportunities. Special teams tell a similar story. New Jersey converts 23.5% on the power play and kills penalties at 82.1%, giving them a clear structural edge over Florida's 16% power play and 73.8% penalty kill. Recent form highlights the difference as well. New Jersey is 3-2 in their last 5, with gritty wins over Washington, Chicago, and Pittsburgh, while Florida has displayed volatility despite some high-scoring victories. This matchup hinges on goalkeeping and discipline, with the first pick going to Florida Panthers and a total over 5.5 adding scoring intrigue. Seattle Kraken vs. Chicago Blackhawks provides another layer of drama. Seattle arrives at 9.55 in the Pacific, chasing a return to form after a 2-game skid, while Chicago, the 4th of May 10 in the Central, rides confidence following a franchise highlight performance from Connor Bedard, whose 29 points, 13 goals, and 16 assists define Chicago's high-octane offense. Seattle distributes scoring more evenly through Jordan Eberle, Matt ___ and Jaden Schwartz, each contributing points and stability. Chicago's defense, led by Matt Gazelchik and Louis Crevier, complements the offensive surge. Seattle averages 2.88 goals per game and allows 2.74, while Chicago scores 3.37 and concedes 2.53. Momentum favors the Blackhawks, with 4 wins in their last 5 contests, while Seattle has struggled for consistency. Goalies sharpen the edge. Joey Dord's .898 save percentage and 2.85 GAA for Seattle is steady, but Chicago's Spencer Knight at .924 save percentage and 2.42 GAA has been exceptional. If this becomes a duel in net, Chicago enters with the advantage. Seattle must impose structure, force half-ice battles, and control pace, but Chicago thrives in chaos, attacking off turnovers with relentless speed. Special teams reinforce the story, with Seattle's 20% power play and 70.4% penalty kill under pressure against Chicago's 84.3% kill. X factors like Tyler Bertuzzi for Chicago and Matty Bainers for Seattle could swing the night, but Chicago's momentum, firepower, and netminding stability make them the favorite, while the total over 5 promises more goals. Next, Dallas Stars face Vancouver Canucks in a contest of division stakes and contrasting fortunes. Dallas, the 3rd of May 12 in the Central, chase Colorado while Vancouver, 9.10-2 in the Pacific, fights to avoid a deeper skid. Dallas leads with Mikko Rantanen at 27 points and Jason Robertson at 25, driving a top line capable of controlling shifts and maintaining pace. Defensively, Miro Heiskanen stabilizes minutes and breakout flow, while Jake Edinger and Casey DeSmith provide reliable goaltending. Vancouver leans heavily on Quinn Hughes, Kafir Sherwood, and Elias Peterson for offensive production, but defensive gaps remain exposed, compounded by inconsistent netminding from Kevin Lankinen and Thatcher Demko. Momentum paints a stark contrast. Dallas is 3-2 in their last 5, including dominant wins over Montreal and Ottawa, while Vancouver has suffered 4 losses in that span, allowing 27 goals and struggling to maintain composure late in games. The Stars exploit defensive lapses, leverage top-line firepower, and lean on special teams, with a 31.9% power play forcing Vancouver into high-pressure scenarios. X factors like Rantanen's vision and Robertson's finishing tilt the balance further. The first pick favors Dallas Stars, while the total over 5.5 aligns with the offensive potential of both squads. Next, the ice at Bell Center is set for a collision of styles and intentions as the Washington Capitals visit the Montreal Canadiens. Two teams separated not just by geography but by the very DNA of their play, each carrying its own story into the night. Washington, at 9.82, sits 7th in the Metropolitan Division, a squad showing glimpses of cohesion and upward momentum after navigating a patchy start. Montreal, the 3rd of June 10, stands third in the Atlantic, holding home ice and a sense of urgency to keep pace with the leaders of the division. This is a crossroads, a night where Washington seeks to climb and stabilize, while Montreal looks to correct course after defensive lapses and inconsistent form. The ice will reflect these narratives, and every shift could tilt the game toward one identity over the other. Washington's attack is built on rugged precision. Tom Wilson has emerged as a pivotal figure, 18 points on the season and a team-leading 9 goals, a winger capable of combining physicality with opportunistic finishing. Dylan Strome controls distribution with 11 assists and a +11 rating, orchestrating the flow of play with the steady hand the Capitals rely on in high-pressure situations. The defense drives the game forward as much as it absorbs pressure. John Carlson and Jacob Chatrin provide 15 and 14 points respectively, their blue line contributions reinforcing a system that thrives when structured and physical. The Capitals play a game of calculated aggression, with heavy shifts, selective offensive jumps, and a core of experience capable of adjusting tempo on the fly. Montreal counters with layered skill and offensive firepower. Nick Suzuki headlines the roster with 21 points, supported by Cole Caulfield's 20 and secondary contributors like Lane Hudson and Ivan Demidov, who add 16 and 14 points. This is a team that thrives on pace, shooting volume, and finishing efficiency across its top 6, a formula that can punish defensive breakdowns. While Washington relies on structure and discipline, Montreal's approach is aggressive, seeking to create chaos and exploit openings. The contrast between a methodical Capitals approach and Montreal's high-risk, high-reward tempo is stark, and the opening minutes will likely set the tone for which identity dominates. Looking deeper, team metrics reveal the stakes. Washington averages 2.79 goals per game while allowing 2.63, a reflection of their balanced attack and structured defense. Montreal, conversely, scores at a 3.32 clip but concedes 3.37, creating a volatile formula that swings dramatically with momentum. Special teams lean slightly toward Washington, whose power play thrives under the combined influence of Wilson and Carlson. Montreal, with its depth scoring, creates matchup problems capable of neutralizing even disciplined defensive pairs. Essentially, the game becomes a question of pace. If Montreal can turn it into a track meet, their high-volume attack thrives. If Washington slows it down, a trench-style game benefits the visitors. Momentum tells a subtle story. Washington enters with a mixed but ultimately upward trend in their last 5. A 2-1 win over Los Angeles, a shootout loss to New Jersey, a stumble against Florida, a 4-1 road victory at Carolina, and a tight loss to Tampa Bay. Montreal has struggled, losing 4 of 5 with defensive collapses against Dallas and Los Angeles, although a 6-2 win over Utah halted the bleeding. In net, the edge is tangible. Logan Thompson's 1.85 goals against average and 0.920 save percentage across 320 saves offer calm, technical reliability for Washington. Montreal's tandem, Sam Montembeault and Jakob Dobes, has been less consistent, with GAA at 3.56 and 2.71 and save percentages at 0.858 and 0.898, respectively. This disparity places the burden on Montreal to survive Washington's composure while trying to impose their own offensive identity. The tactical map is clear. Washington will seek to slow the pace, clog the neutral zone, and let Wilson's line wear down Montreal's defense. Strome's two-way control becomes critical against Suzuki, while neutralizing Caulfield early can prevent the Canadiens from flipping tempo. Montreal must stretch the ice, attack Washington's second pair, and force Thompson into constant lateral movement where rebounds may create opportunities. Hudson's vision on the power play and offensive instincts offer a swing factor, but Montreal's defensive lapses in recent games underscore the challenge. One missed assignment, one late reaction, and Washington can capitalize. In the end, the prediction leans toward Washington to assert steady structure, closing out a competitive game while containing Montreal's chaos. The total, over 5.5, reflects the potential for bursts of scoring from both sides despite a structurally tight game. In St. Louis, the Blues face the Philadelphia Flyers in a contest that feels like a mid-November measuring stick. St. Louis, 6-9-5, is searching for traction after 4 of their last 5 games slipping away despite competitive performances. Robert Thomas leads the offense with 13 points, Jordan Kyrou tops the goal chart with 6, but inefficiency and a middling shooting percentage limit impact. Defensively, Colton Parayko and Justin Falk anchor a team giving up 3.80 goals per game, with a penalty kill at 72.5%, creating vulnerabilities. Philadelphia brings more rhythm, led by Trevor Zegras with 19 points, and supported by Travis Konechny, Christian Dvorak, and Owen Tippett. Cam York and Jamie Drysdale provide a mobile and assertive defensive presence, stabilizing a blue line that allows forwards to stretch ice and pressure opposition. Their penalty kill at 87.5% counters St. Louis's advantage on the power play, setting the stage for a battle of structure versus opportunism. Recent form further highlights contrasts. St. Louis dropped 4 of its last 5, falling in tight contests that were often decided in late moments, while Philadelphia has stabilized at 3-2, including a shootout win over the Blues in their first meeting. Goalies amplify the divergence. Jordan Binnington has struggled with consistency, while Dan Vladar's 2.42 GAA and 0.909 save percentage provide Philadelphia with poise under pressure. St. Louis can compete if they can slow tempo and dictate possession, but Philadelphia's depth, defensive stability, and late-game composure favor a Flyers victory. Total over 5 again captures the potential for bursts of offense from both squads, though Philadelphia's structured game should carry the day. The New York Rangers host the Colorado Avalanche in a contest that feels like a primetime stage collision. The Rangers, the 2nd of September 10, are navigating a crowded metropolitan division, while Colorado, the 5th of January 13, is imposing its dominance, riding a 6-game winning streak with an explosive 4.11 goals per game average. Nathan MacKinnon, with 33 points, orchestrates a high-octane offense, supported by Martin Ness and Artturi Lehkonen. The Rangers rely on Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad, but their 2.48 goals per game mark illustrates a struggle to match Colorado's offensive dynamism. Defensively, Adam Fox's recovery speed and Alexis Lafreniere's two-way development are key, but Colorado's structured blue line and relentless pace, anchored by McKinnon's vision, threaten to overwhelm New York's defensive systems. Igor Shesterkin remains a strong presence with a 2.39 GAA and 0.912 save percentage, but the Avalanche's depth, tempo, and scoring balance appear poised to assert dominance. Total over 5.5 again seems likely as Colorado's relentless pressure tests New York's capacity to contain the onslaught. Finally, Ottawa visits Anaheim in a clash between a climbing team and a Pacific leader. Ottawa, 9-6-4, relies on Tim Stutzel's 19 points and Drake Batherson's distribution to sustain offense, but a 67.9% penalty kill highlights structural vulnerabilities. Anaheim, the 1st of June 12 at home, boasts Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier atop a high-powered attack with strong secondary contributors in Terry, Kreider, and McTavish. Jacob Trouba leads a disciplined back end that, alongside Lucas Dostal's 2.80 GAA and 0.903 save percentage, gives Anaheim a foundation for sustained pressure. Ottawa can steal momentum with precise entries, board wins, and power play execution, but Anaheim's tempo, depth scoring, and defensive efficiency provide a clear advantage. The total over 5.5 reflects the potential for both teams to contribute in an offensively active environment, though Anaheim's structured pressure likely seals the victory. Every matchup tonight carries layers of strategy, star power, and high-stakes drama. From disciplined structures to chaotic offensive bursts, goalkeeping duels to special teams battles, November 20th promises hockey that is as thrilling as it is unpredictable. Each shift could change the standings, redefine momentum, and highlight why the NHL remains one of the most captivating leagues in the world. As the night unfolds, keep your eyes on key matchups, watch the top performers, and note which teams ride momentum versus structure. These games aren't just about points. They're about identity, strategy, and making every second on the ice count. Stick with these insights, follow the picks, and approach each game with precision and awareness. The NHL is a game of inches, and tonight, every inch matters. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay ahead of every NHL slate, make sure to hit subscribe and click the bell icon. That way, you'll always have the edge with daily, in-depth analysis and free picks. Keep your eyes sharp, your strategy ready, and your predictions informed, because the ice never sleeps, and neither do the opportunities to dominate your NHL betting journey.